Scott Summers, the leader of the X-Men, is back, and he's got to face off against Donald Pierce and his latest creation of Reavers. This story is taken straight from the newest comic, Cyclops Volume 4, Issue 1. Before we dive in, thanks so much for clicking on this video, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Comic Leap. Without further ado, let's leap in. The story kicks off at an AIM facility in Romania, where Magik and Kid Omega are caught infiltrating the place to snatch a prototype called the SR-302, which is believed to be capable of controlling mutant genes. However, the tables are turned here. The AIM agents found out and ended up using the device on Quentin and Illyana instead. And with this prototype, they attack these two X-Men, making it feel as if they can no longer breathe oxygen. Both mutants start throwing up. Damn, Kid Omega has telepathic powers, right? Why didn't he just use them? Luckily, all of a sudden, a red blast strikes AIM, and we all know exactly who that is. Cyclops has arrived. I don't know why, but whenever Cyclops shows up, he just radiates total final boss energy. Scott gives them two choices for the next 10 seconds. Choice 1, they can try to attack him. Choice 2, they can run for their lives. The AIM leader immediately orders his squad to charge. He actually tells them to capture Cyclops so they can study his eyes. Big mistake. Cyclops steps forward to start the fight. Honestly, these guys are just fodder to him. With lightning speed, he unleashes his optic blast, wiping out the AIM agents. This is light work. But suddenly, the squad leader ambushes him from behind. He claims that Cyclops' incredible powers are useless if he's attacked from the rear. Staying cool as a cucumber, Cyclops just says, "Oh, you'd be surprised." He immediately scolds Illyana and Quentin, telling them they shouldn't have moved in until backup arrived. But nope, they rushed in anyway and almost got themselves wrecked. Next, Juggernaut, Beast, and Temper show up. They ask if Magik and Kid Omega are doing okay. Talk about late to the party, right? Typical. Magik tries to apologize to Cyclops, but she still finds the time to bicker with Kid Omega. Scott, cold as ice, just tells them he doesn't need apologies. He needs soldiers. The scene shifts to the X-Men's base in Alaska. If you're wondering why on earth the X-Men are based in Alaska now, it's because Krakoa has fallen. Maybe I'll do a deep dive on that in another video. Scott and Hank are having a chat about why Cyclops is demanding the mutants act like soldiers. But hey, that's just Cyclops being Cyclops, right? Beast hands a piece of paper to Cyclops, who then tells Hank to have the Quinjet ready for tomorrow. Scott mentions he has to go visit an old ghost. Who could this old ghost be? Well, on that paper, the name Dr. Robin Hanover is written. The scene shifts to an abandoned coal mine in Nevada. A mysterious man is seen performing metal modifications on humans. He mentions the word Reavers. Now we know exactly who this is, right? It's Donald Pierce. It looks like he's prepping a second army. But I'm telling you, the vibes here are pure mad scientist. Pierce is muttering to himself, saying that the first generation of Reavers, his old mutant hunting squad, was actually strong enough. They had plenty of hate, but they lacked conviction. This time, Pierce is confident his second generation will get the job done. Standing among his 6 Reaver experiments, Pierce starts motivating them, claiming they can dominate the mutants this time and make them bow down to him. Wait, so it's not just about exterminating them anymore? One of his patients groans in agony. It looks like Pierce's surgery is almost complete. This man, named Philip, is crying out in pain, but Pierce takes it the wrong way. He sees it as a tiny spark of rebellion, as if Philip disagrees with what's being done to him. And with a cruel energy blast from his hand, Pierce ruthlessly puts an end to Philip. It seems Pierce finds these people at their lowest points and then modifies them. All he wants is commitment. But seriously, what kind of commitment is this? Suddenly, another one of his experiments grabs a drill, switches it on, and slams it right into his own head. Damn, is this guy giving up? Nope, he's actually trying to finish the body modification on his own. Pierce asks him if he has a name for his new form yet. Pierce then names him Tearjerker as he puts on his welding helmet. The scene shifts to Nebraska, where Scott meets up with Dr. Hanover, one of the people who looked after him at the orphanage when he was a kid. They're looking at the ruins of Scott's childhood home, which has been torn down. Dr. Hanover mentions that the place is being replaced by a Roxxon data center. It turns out Dr. Hanover was incredibly kind to Scott back then, and she deeply regrets not taking him away from that orphanage sooner. Why? Because Scott's childhood there was, to put it lightly, a total nightmare. But anyway, it seems Scott has moved on from this place. Then, Dr. Hanover asks how much he actually remembers. Since Scott suffered some brain damage as a kid, he admits a lot of it is a blur. But then, the doctor shares a story. She tells him there were about 3 attempts by the orphanage to separate Scott and Alex when they were little, and Scott fought back every single time. In fact, during the 3rd attempt, Scott rebelled so hard, he burned down the entire east wing of the building. But Scott is stunned. He says he has absolutely no memory of any of this. And the reason Dr. Hanover is telling him all this now is because she's sick, likely terminally ill. She's afraid she won't have any time left to tell him the truth. She carries so much regret for not being able to do more for him back then, and for failing to help Alex and Scott while they were still at the orphanage. On the way back, Scott gets into an argument with Alex via hologram call. Alex feels like Scott should have told him about Dr. Hanover and the orphanage, so he could have gone there too. But I mean, Scott didn't even know what was coming, right? Scott just wanted to say that he never should have let them be separated in the first place. Meanwhile, elsewhere, we see a little girl chasing after her rabbit. She says something really cryptic. You know what she says? Everyone's counting on you. Like, what does that even mean? But it turns out she's being hunted by 2 Reavers. They're chasing this little girl down. But what is actually going on here? These 2 Reavers, one of whom is clearly Tearjerker, are bickering while trying to catch the girl to impress Pierce. Using his heat vision, Tearjerker tracks her footprints, but then they get distracted by a Quinjet flying overhead. Is that Scott's Quinjet? Anyway, they freak out, thinking the Avengers are coming for them. One Reaver launches a missile aimed straight at Scott's Quinjet. Up in the air, Scott loses his signal while talking to Alex. Just as Scott starts blaming the mountain reception, the missile slams into the jet, sending him into a tailspin. The 2 Reavers immediately start blaming each other. Tearjerker argues that if he hadn't shot it down, their mine would have been discovered. You can see Scott's Quinjet crashing in this top panel right here. Back inside the mine, Pierce contacts Tearjerker. Wait, what's happening? Why are there so many people in the mine? Anyway, Pierce says he heard an explosion, even though their only mission was to catch the girl. Tearjerker's buddy, sorry guys, I don't know his name yet, snitches and tells Pierce that TJ just shot down a Quinjet. Pierce immediately orders them to get back to base. With his plane on the brink of total destruction, Scott manages to bail out with a parachute, just seconds before the Quinjet slams into the ground and erupts into a massive fireball. But disaster strikes again. The flames from the explosion catch his parachute, sending Scott into a high-speed freefall. He braces himself as he crashes through thick trees, but unfortunately, his head slams into a branch. Wait, did it hit his visor? In the chaos, he tries to reach out telepathically to Jean, but he quickly loses consciousness. When he finally wakes up, he's delirious, trying to tell Jean he's hurt. Then reality hits. He's dangling from his parachute, just a few feet above the ground. But here's the nightmare scenario. His visor is cracked and shattered. Suddenly, his eyes are completely unprotected. Scott falls to the ground, and without his visor, he can't contain his power. Optic blasts start firing wildly, tearing up everything around him. Man, this is bad. The thunderous roar of the optic blasts reaches all the way to Pierce's hidden mine. 2 other Reavers, Blitz Tempo and Endzone, show up asking who's crashing the party. Pierce, totally caught off guard by Scott's arrival, admits it might be a bit too early for them to go toe-to-toe with the X-Men. But he explains that their guest is Cyclops himself, and he's praying no other X-Men are following close behind. Blitz Tempo asks what the plan is. Pierce calmly responds that they're going to do exactly what Reavers are meant to do to mutants, and he hopes they catch that girl before the rest of the X-Men show up. Meanwhile, elsewhere, that little girl has just narrowly escaped Cyclops' uncontrollable optic blasts. Nearby, she spots a stag. It's like she's trying to communicate with it, asking the deer to lead her to some security officers. Wait, does she have the power to talk to animals? But before she can get an answer, the stag bolts and runs away. The girl tries to chase after it, but she trips and falls right into the wreckage of the Quinjet. As she struggles to get back up, she finds him, Cyclops, lying there unconscious. All right, so that's the story from the latest Cyclops comic. What do you guys think? Are you feeling this new direction? Or is there another comic series you're dying to see? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Comic Leap so you never miss out on these epic stories. See you on the next Leap.